Hello everyone, it's Camille. Today I wanted to talk to you all about how my book is going. As a lot of you know, I have been writing a book for about a year now and I'm very excited to talk about it. So the book fits into a genre, I would say, of dystopia mostly, in which I want to explore the difference or how communism and liberalism kind of how they gravitate towards each other and how they separate. And well, I would say it's more socialism than communism, because communism is technically just a derived ideology from socialism. So I would say it's socialism versus liberalism. So basically individualism versus community. I know that sounds pretty complex and more like a nonfiction book than a fiction book. It is a fiction book and it does sound complex, but I'm actually trying to mirror this in a simple way to understand. If you think of Animal Farm or 1984, that sort of thing, which is a dystopia, but goes into it. It's so complex, but it's not made to be complex if I compare to something like War and Peace, which does explore ideologies as well, but is written in a more complex manner, which does almost fall into a nonfiction genre. Obviously it's not, because it's a story, but it goes into that little category. I am trying to make it as simple as possible, but not simple in the sense of being, I'm not exactly sure how to describe it, but I am making it comprehensive and accessible, but I do want it to underliningly discuss those subjects and not doing it directly, but make people think. That's what I want to do with my art in general, whether it's movies or, short films, my writing, whatever it is. What I want to do is communicate truth and messages, and I want to make people think and feel something. That's really how I describe what I want to do. I am going to be exploring this through two characters, my two main characters, and their own societies, which will collide. Now, I do want this to be character driven, which it most likely will be. I think I might almost half split plot driven and character driven. It's very important to me that my stories are character driven, because the more you connect to the characters, the more you connect to the story. I can think of that with every single book. That's one of my favorite books. For example, if I take Little Women, I connect to almost all of the four sisters, and I wouldn't love the story as much if I didn't feel connected to them. Same thing in the book Emma. Same thing in this little childhood book of mine that I love called Ballet Shoes. The character Pauline, I love her so much. Same thing with Harry Potter. If Hermione wasn't there to the story would still be interesting, but you always have that character who you relate to and you just want to and that's so important to you. So when you have that, which makes a character driven story, then you connect more with these people and you're able to dive into the plot into a more significant way. I'm gonna have to take the time to develop these characters in a profound way. Right now I'm at my first draft. I'm at 92 pages so far, and I would say that I will be finishing the first draft most likely before summer ends, hopefully. Actually, yes, guaranteed before summer ends. And then my first draft isn't that good, but a first draft is not supposed to be that good. So what I'm going to do after my first draft, I actually wrote a list of all the things that I want to change, because that's what I think is good to do during your first draft. Don't go and try and edit something every time you think you have a mistake. Just go and keep writing it so the inspiration flows. And if you think of something, oh, I have to go change that, just write it down. And now I have a long to-do list of everything I have to revise when I finish my first draft, and then I'm going to revise it, and then I'm going to be starting on my second draft or edited version of the first draft. When would I finish the first draft? Maybe by July, I think, because I am leaving for Scandinavia for 12 to 14 days at the beginning of June, so I won't be there for half the month. And then currently I've been writing a script for my production channel, so that has been consuming a lot of my writing time. So in general, things are going pretty well, I would say, and I love how it's going. I kind of plotted it, which I don't usually do. I'm more of a pantser than a plotter. What I found is that my characters are not very developed because I plotted it instead of pantsing it. So that is something I'm gonna have to do in my second draft. Like I said, I need this to be character driven. I need people to connect to these characters, understand how they're thinking, how they're feeling, so they can connect with their personalities in a way and their goals and their ambitions. So I am gonna be focusing a lot of time on that once I finish my first draft, to just go and implement the character driven elements before I continue and just continue making the story profound and then just fixing up continuity errors. I would say that's how it's going so far. I don't know if I have anything else to explain. I think that's pretty much it. If you do have any questions, please ask them. I will make a Q&A. But that's how it's going so far. I will update you guys along the way. I'll make a little series out of it, I think. But that is how it's going, and I hope this clarified some things. I hope that you enjoyed, and like I said, feel free to ask me some questions. And yeah, that was the update for my book.